Okay, so pretty much as soon as we ended that clip, we went and got gas, and now the weather is actually really nice. So we're like, okay, we'll just do one more thing. And then it's like, well, let's just do 2 more things. So I think we're gonna try to go back to the shipwreck and hope that we have a much better experience, even though we really enjoyed yesterday. It was so memorable and painful. Now it's hailing. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go to the shipwreck. It's hailing every other 3 minutes. And yeah. So we are at the deck of the Flavel House. You purchase your tickets at, what did they call it, the carriage house? But it's a visitor center, it's easy to find. You can also purchase kind of like a package where you can go through the different museums. There's one like right across the street. And we just purchased the $7 tickets for the Flavel House. And we found street parking.
We'll see what happens.
We'll show you what we can inside. Okay, so we've been really lucky. We don't have a lot of people around, and art docent has been amazing at telling us so much about this place. A few things that really stand out is the Flavels were very small people, and so it sounds like George Flavel, I believe he said, was 5'4", and his wife was either 4'8" or 4'11". And so all the seating is really low, as well as the staircase banister, which we'll show you in a minute. So right now we're in the servants' quarters area, and so the kitchen and the mudroom. And back here, they don't have the same varnishes and the same details that they have in the rest of the house. And also, the ceilings and doorways are humongous. It's like crazy. I can't even tell you how tall they are because it's just insane. So
like 12 feet is what he said.
Oh, it's more than 12 feet. I think the doorways are 12 feet.
Gotcha.
But it's crazy, very cool. It's also very dark, so our footage isn't going to be amazing, but we'll try to get what we can. I'm 5'5", and so this doesn't even go to my waist. These chairs over here don't even reach my knee. So, there you go. And real fast, I do want to point out, you can see right there the little chain. This is actually a secret door that the groundskeeper who lived in the carriage house would come through, so he wouldn't muddy up the place. So again, I'm 5'5". This is where the top of the banister is at on me, which is pretty crazy. And then if Kyle turns around and shows you, we were talking about how this originally could have been a stained glass window that has faded over time and they've redone.
We were also told that the floor needs to be red carpet with gold trim.
Mm-hmm. But not in the servant area, obviously. And this is an ornamental piece, sunflower that they put on the roof lines. So in each one of their rooms, they each have like a little wash sink, which I love the idea of. And a lot of this furniture is not fully original, and that's why there are some chairs that can be sat on, which is kind of neat. There also is a lot of this house that we cannot see. They've got the tower, and so the art docent showed us some pictures of when he's been up there, but there's no light up there in the tower, and then some of the servant areas just aren't particularly safe. But it was really cool to see pictures of, and to see the differences from all these ornamental pieces, and also just to see how vast the ceilings were, and especially considering people were so much smaller. So that was pretty neat. It also sounds like the family mostly used this as kind of a summer house, and they spent a lot of their time actually in San Francisco, so they never actually had live-in servants the way they had originally planned. Little wash sink. I'm just trying to show that this chaise lounge basically goes to my calf. That's how low to the ground it is. You got anything to say, Kyle? I think we originally thought this would be a lot more like Pittock Mansion, and it's very different, so that's been really fun.
So maybe hard to tell, but it's hanging on these
Brass tubes.
brass tubes.
They look kind of like pipes. That's what stuff's hanging on.
Affect the trim.
Correct.
Thank you for correcting me.
Sorry.
Correct.
Also, the music they have downstairs being played is actually one of the daughters playing piano, and so they were all very musical and artistic, and they have some of their instruments and paintings throughout the house. Massive mirror. This is the guest bedroom. Look at that. It's insane. I know, it's so dark in here. It looks like in the guest bedroom they didn't have an actual sink, but they still have a little wash bin area. These windows are massive. A lot of the doors are actually pocket doors, which gotta love that. Just look at how small these chairs are. Look how tall you look. Yeah, do you want to stand next to the door? This is one of the shorter doors. And that's how Kyle compares. Pretty crazy. Another thing is these stairs are very shallow, and compared to the servant stairs, which are actually much steeper. And then this is the attic, which we do not have access to, unfortunately. This is a playroom, looks like. I could be wrong. That building there is either I think that's the film museum. And so there's several different museums in the area. Ooh, they've got games, Kyle. Again, these massive windows. That's the carriage house the gardener lived, and that's where we got our tickets. That child chair doesn't even go to your calf. So this is your little toilet, I guess. This flips up and looks like a little treasure box. Got another little sink. And then this teeny little bath with a view.
Double.
Yeah, it's a double toilet. What's interesting is if you go back to our Pittock Mansion videos, is you'll see in those videos that they have so many different bathing options. They had multiple showers, they had foot baths, they had regular baths, and so it's really funny to just see like this little tub.
And right there is the groundskeeper. I can't believe I got him on camera.
And then up here you can see a little bit better the brass piping that Kyle was talking about. So that's Kyle. And that's the door. And this is a pocket door. It's huge.
So that's the Flavel House. Really pretty. Take it away, Amy.
It was really cool to see like the differences since we've been to Pittock Mansion and Sam Hill. So to see all these really wealthy kind of start of these cities and to see how they had their homes and to see the differences in like electricity and plumbing was really neat. And this was cool because even though we didn't get to see as much as we would have wanted to, we didn't get to see like the attic or the basement, the tower top and the servants areas, we were able to kind of talk a bit more about that with the art docent on how, you know, the servant quarters, their stairs were always really steep. They didn't have the same varnishes, ornamental things, and how they never even really ended up using them. So that was kind of fun. I'm trying to think what else. I think this was worth our while. I'm glad we stopped here. This is very much our type of thing. We really love historic buildings and a bit of history, and especially when we see these people pop up later in our travels. Like we've seen Sam Hill pop up so many times since we've been there, and so excited to see how George Flavel and his family pop up in the future. Okay, so we're just back in the car. It just started hailing, and I thought of a few more things I wanted to share. So there are a few different counterparts to this Flavel house. There's the house that the mother-in-law lived in, as well as the son. and the art docent referred to that as the haunted Flavel House because they were reclusive hoarders, and they're actually restoring that right now, and hopefully it will be on tour next summer. So that's something to note, especially if you're watching this in the future. And then another thing, so we're in Astoria, which is home of the Goonies, and in the Goonies, one of the boys' fathers works at a museum, and so this is the museum that he worked at, and there's a scene where he's riding his bike down the hill, and they pass the museum, and the father's like painting, because I think he's painting it white, and it was originally white, then they put in scaffolding, and then they changed it back to be more of the original, so that's in the movie, which is kind of a fun little, what is that, little tidbit? So we haven't really eaten today besides snacking on pretzels and Cheetos and stuff, so we're gonna go grab food and head home.